Was this the greatest defensive play in postseason history?
No, but it was the greatest defensive play I saw last night. I don't think anything was comparable to it. So you mean to tell me a block in game one that would have tied the game is better than a block in a game 7 of the NBA Finals that would have given them the lead and it helped you, it propelled a team to come back from a 3-1 deficit? Absolutely not. I'm not taking anything away from Bam because I'm not so sure a whole lot of guys would have even challenged him. Not the fact, Skip, because he's like, well, hold on. At worst case scenario, we're going to be tied and we still got 12 seconds to possibly go down and get the last shot. Second of all, man, I ain't trying to be on no post in no situation like this. So I'm sure all that flashes before Bam's eyes, but that's not the way Bam is built. That's not the way this Miami Heat. I'm not so sure every player, with the exception of Dragic, because he's only 6 foot tall, would have at least tried to block that dunk. Jimmy Butler would have tried it. Jay Crowder would have tried it. I'm not so sure everybody. I'm sure Jones, I think the guy Jones that won the dunk contest, there's no question in my mind he's going to try and block it.
Yeah.
I don't know about Hero or Duncan Robinson. I don't know if they got the up. But knowing Hero.
I think Hero does.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got the mentality.
He got the makeup.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, the only one thing can happen, Skip. Either you're going to make it or you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
As simple as that. But, Skip, look, I'm not trying to deny this. It was an unbelievable play given the moment. But, Skip, this was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The greatest defensive play came in game 7 of the NBA Finals. We say things that happen as you go further along, like regular season is one thing, playoffs are another thing, finals is something entirely different. And so there's a reason why we've seen plays that happen in the regular season. You're like, yeah, that was good. And then we see plays that happen in the playoffs, and you said, okay, that's what set guys apart. So I'm not trying to downplay Bam Adebayo. It was an unbelievable play. And when Tatum turned the corner, I was like, oh, I knew he was going to try and flush it. And then Bam's like, nope. And it bent his hand all the way back into the rim. And Bam's like, nah. But that's how they're wired, Skip. When you look at every big shot after big shot, every team making big shot. But it was a great defensive play. It was one of the better defensive plays that you're going to see in playoff history. But LeBron's chase down in a game 7 of an NBA Finals is still the best defensive play that I've seen.
It was past tense until last night. Magic Johnson, the great Magic Johnson, is exactly right. This took the cake because this was the tone setter. It was the game saver and the tone setter for a Miami underdog team, underdog to the Celtics, underdog obviously to the Bucks in the previous round. Something is brewing in Miami. Something is going on with this team, and you saw it in full force with the left hand of Bam. And what I loved about the block, the reason it was so third level is that he decided to go left-handed. He's a right-handed player, obviously, because he wanted to lean away so there was no chance of a body foul.
Yeah, he'd have body fouled him when it was right.
If you go right, you have to body foul him.
Yep.
So he could lean a little bit sideways and go just left-handed. And it's not your dominant hand. It's not your strongest hand. And so he managed to withstand the force of an emerging superstar. And I think Jayson Tatum is an emerging superstar.
Oh, yeah, he's on the cusp.
Yep. He had a bad fourth quarter in overtime last night.
He took some bad shots, Skip.
He missed all 4 of his threes in fourth and overtime. But the point was that Bam, who is the heart and soul, especially of this defensive Miami team, he goes up and lines it up and times it up and nails it and rejects it. And I believe it's going to launch Miami on to win this series. You love the Celtics.
I took the Celtics. I took the Celtics.
And I took the Heat in this one, in large part because of Jimmy Butler. And quick point on Jimmy Butler, we were ranking players the other day on, I think it was Luka we were doing. Right. And I forgot to even put Jimmy Butler in my top 30. And a lot of people probably wouldn't have him in the top 30 because he's not much of a shooter.
Right.
But there are very few players I'd rather have on my team in my foxhole in the fourth quarter of a big playoff game.
If you go in the battle, you better get him.
Get him. Because you want to talk about got that dog in him, got some mental toughness, knows how to win. Shrewd operator. And that drive shot that he forced through Jayson Tatum, I don't know how he did it. I'm not even sure he meant to straight in the drive shot that won the game.
I don't think so either.
I think he just sort of willed it up through him, and it happened to go over the rim, in and down through
Skip, what I like about Jimmy Butler last night, early on through the first three quarters, Jayson Tatum was giving it to him.
He was.
But Jimmy Butler didn't hang his head on the offensive end. He said, I'm coming right back at you. And that step back three, Skip, to put him up, for him, I mean, and that's the thing that you like. A lot of guys, Skip, when somebody's giving them work, they go down and then all of a sudden their offense tails off because they're so frustrated because they can't do anything on the defensive end. But that's not how he operates.
Boston made 3 runs in that game that I thought had put away the Heat, and the Heat would not be put away.
They wouldn't.
They were the opposite of the Clippers. They said, no, we're not going to go away. And by the way, I need to mention, before I get to the second best block ever, Tyler Hero. I didn't see this at Kentucky, and I watched him a lot. I did not see this. It's been a long time since I saw a rookie play with playoff poise and clutch fearlessness. I'm talking about clutch, where he is unafraid of taking and making big shots.
I think the thing is, Skip, is that when you go to Kentucky and you play with so many 5 stars, I mean, I did not see this offensive game, I did not see this from Anthony Davis. I did not see Karl Anthony Towns' offensive game, Skip. I guess because there's so many. Maybe. And there's like, okay, you got to realize he was a 5-star too. He was a 5-star. He was a 5-star. You a 5-star. So they share the ball. So now all of a sudden, Skip, you go to a team like AD, and he's the guy, and they're going to run everything through him, and you're like, dude, you average 13 points in college. How you getting 28 a night? Karl Anthony Towns, how you doing this on a nightly basis? And I think that Jayson Tatum, Skip, because they got so many guys at Duke, it's hard for you to set yourself apart. But now all of a sudden, you go to Duke, and you come out in the NBA, and you're like, what the hell was this?
So I thought Andre Iguodala was going to be that guy for that team, because I love him, and I've always loved his intangibles in big games. But all of a sudden, Tyler Hero has taken his spot in the rotation for the large part. And every big play that they seem to make, he's in it somewhere where he looks like he belongs on the floor in these big games.
Skip, they were down 5, and he hit that 3 because he had the ball, and and Kimber ran away, and he realized, oh, he got the ball, and came back, and he pulled up and hit a 3, and it put him right back in the ball game.
Okay. Now to what you call the greatest block ever, that I have often called the most overrated block in NBA history, the chase down Game 7 at Oracle. What was it, 2015?
2016.
2016, if we could see it now. You conveniently leave out each time the role that J.R. Smith played, because J.R. Smith cuts across the face, if we can see it right here. He cuts across the face right there of Iguodala, and it's a bicycle built for 2. It's a huge assist to JR, because he was the first one who disrupted the path to the rim of Iguodala, who should have just dunked it, but he couldn't because JR got in his way and slowed him up and left him as a sitting duck for LeBron James. I saw
LeBron dunk one like that against Houston. Up and under. Somebody went over the top of him. He up and under and dunked it.
Okay, we don't care about that. We care about this block that you always call the greatest block in NBA history.
It is.
It is not. It was assisted hugely by J.R. Smith. And you can say J.R. cost LeBron game 1 of 20, whatever year that was, 18 at Oracle. But he saved LeBron for this one. He set up LeBron for this one.
He saved it because he made those big 3s in the third quarter when Golden State was like, Skip, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a prime example. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Our good James Harris played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He comes and sits in for our show. Against the Arizona Cardinals, right before the half, he had a 100-yard INT return. And people say that was the greatest defensive play in Super Bowl history. That was one up in 2014 by Malcolm Butler. Now, which play? Now, one play happened right before the half. The other play happened at the end of the game. So tell the people at home why Malcolm Butler had the best defensive play in Super Bowl history.
This happened at the end of the game. Last night happened at the end of the game.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are you saying? Where's the James Harrison analogy in these two blocks?
James Harrison, Skip, it was the first half.
I mean, are you saying that Bam blocked the shot at the end of the first half?
No, I'm saying if he makes that shot, what's the score of the ball game? Are they up 5? Does that put them up 3? Does that put them up 4? If Jayson Tatum flushes that, They're a tied ball game. If Andre Iguodala makes that shot, what's the score of the game? Are they up, tied, or down?
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm asking you. You watched it. If Andre Iguodala lays that ball up, is the score tied? Are they down or are they up?
You say it saved the game, but there was a lot of game left. Wasn't it tied?
You know.
It was tied.
Everybody knows whoever scored first after that lull, because there had been like a 2 or almost 3 minute period in which nobody had scored.
Right.
Everybody knew whoever scored first.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did LeBron James make the game-winning 3 in Game 7 at Oracle?
Skip, hold on. Did Bam make the game-winning shot?
Well, I'm asking you a question.
No.
You didn't answer. No.
Skip.
Wait. Kyrie Irving made it.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Skip.
Oh,
Skip.
Kyrie made
Hold
it.
on. Magic didn't say that was the greatest shot ever made. Magic Johnson said that was the greatest defensive play. So how did you move the goalpost from a defensive play to making a game-winning shot?
I don't move the goalpost. I just score in your end zone.
But no, I'm just
repeatedly.
asking.
I scored again.
Okay, so did Bam make the game-winning shot?
How do you explain J.R. Smith's role in the greatest dunk ever?
Hold on.
How can you call it the greatest dunk when he clearly slowed up Iguodala and made him a sitting duck for LeBron James' chase down?
So what role did Jimmy Butler play?
Did Andre Iguodala see LeBron coming? No, it's another sneak attack from LeBron James, and I don't love sneak attack dunks.
Hold on,
you can't call it the greatest block ever.
It was. Given the moment, Skip, this is game 1.
Yeah.
Skip, there's still 6 games to be played.
They're a big underdog. That set the tone. Saved the night.
Let me ask you a question. Were they more of an underdog to a 73-9 win team with a unanimous MVP being down 3-1?
Wait a second. The Cleveland Cavaliers had the GOAT. That's what you told me. He's the GOAT.
Skip.
What are you talking about?
Let me ask you a question. Did they go in as the underdog? A simple yes or a simple no?
I don't even remember what it was.
Yes, you do remember.
I'm not sure about that.
Skip, stop. You know they were underdog. The team was 73-9.
Did they have Kevin Durant? No, they didn't have Kevin Durant.
Oh, my goodness. So
did they lose Draymond Green for Game 5?
Okay,
yes,
did the Boston Celtics have Larry Bird? Did they have Kevin McHale?
What does that matter?
Exactly. What does that matter?
Well, because they were very vulnerable because Steph Curry's never been very good in fourth quarters of big games. Go look at his stats in that game.
Skip.
He was a nightmare.
Go look at Steph Curry's thing. And he averaged more points in the finals than Larry Bird, than Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. But he's been terrible.
Want me to tell you his fourth quarter stats that night?
Skip, so you take one game.
It was a nightmare.
Hold on. There were 2 games in Larry Bird's first NBA Finals. There were 2 games in which he scored 8 points. So is Larry Bird not any good?
So are you saying Steph is better than Larry Bird?
No, see what you do? You try to move it again, but I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let you. I believe LeBron James had the greatest block, given the moment, given the circumstances.
I'm going to set the goalposts right in front of Iguodala, just the way J.R. Smith did, and you will not touch those goalposts because you have no comeback for that because it was a bicycle built for 2. Yeah. You know it and I know it, and you just try to ignore it and go on with your point.
Did it happen?
You're undercut. You're disqualified.
How?
It's over. Caveat.
Hold on.
Hell, it's got a big asterisk.
Skip.
Assisted by J.R. Smith.
Iguodala was in the dunk contest on numerous occasions.
Did he try to dunk that? No, he couldn't.
Why?
J.R. Smith took the dunk path away.
You just saw LeBron James do the same thing to Jeff Green against Houston.
I don't care about what happened.
But see, you don't care.
I don't care.
Because I just blew your argument out the water.
Oh,
I just blew it out the water.
Yeah, yours has been blown out for a long time.
I blew it out the water.
Yeah.
Skip, I am sorry that your team, that you've been hyping, and everybody's been hyping, go past the parade.
Is this a Clippers question?
Back to the basement you go. Because, Skip, ain't no way you can get past this.
We saw the greatest defensive play of all time last night by Bam.
Oh, you know what, Skip Bayless?
Bam.
You know what? Just for you, and we saw the greatest choke job last night by Kawhi.
Yeah.
Heimlich.
Don't do that on air, Shannon.
Heimlich.
It's alarming.
Yo got choked.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.